Live from the ESL studios in Burbank, California. Welcome back for another day of the ESL Pro League. Joining me at the Xfinity desk is Dazed once again. We've got closer matches we're expecting today than we had yesterday, which was a little bit lopsided. We have NRG and CLG for the first set, and then we've got Renegades and Echo Fox in the second one. Yesterday, 3 maps, kind of blowouts. The last one was pretty close. Today we should see some higher quality Counter-Strike.
Yeah, today I'm expecting a lot more close matches. You know, I think anybody could win on any map for these matches. I'm expecting CLG to hopefully see some improvement here after getting ran over yesterday. And I think that if CLG can take out NRG here, they might be able to stop them from making playoffs. So if CLG is looking for some motivation, that's one of the best motivations you can get.
Crushing dreams.
Yeah, just crushing dreams.
Yeah, and then the later match, Echo Fox Renegades, should be a good one. I think Renegades is playing best of 3 right now. Echo Fox just finished one, so a lot of Counter-Strike being played from these teams
Echo
today.
Fox won that one versus Liquid, right?
They did, yeah. Super exciting, grueling match. We're not the only two here. We do have a beautiful mustache growing on one of the gentlemen that we're going to throw it to right now. That is Blue, and next to him is the legend Lex.
It's all right.
Let's not try and impress anybody with Blue's mustache just yet. That's why it's growing out through ESL New York, and I believe if we hit 400 retweets, Blue also agreed to keep it through Oakland.
Didn't say that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue stash.
Just ignore it for now.
It's beautiful. You can't really see it on camera, but trust me, up close, it's looking
Who do I remind you
lean and mean.
Right now?
Burt Reynolds. I don't know.
No.
What?
With the hand in front of my face? No? Not today with the memes. Clearly disappointed.
Why are you being weird today? Just
I don't know.
complimented your mustache? Okay, some hostility from my co-caster. Anyway.
It's getting out there.
CLG versus NRG.
It's gonna be an interesting match. I feel like NRG is a pretty clear-cut advantage, but what are your thoughts on it?
Did you say NRG or CLG?
NRG has a clear-cut advantage.
I agree. I think in some ways this is going to be a much closer matchup than the previous ones that we've seen in the CLG. We saw them step up in some weeks past, like taking some maps off of teams like Selfless and you know, a few other squads. But I think, you know, if you're going to be moving forward towards the end of the season, as Dave said, you're kind of looking to make a statement that you're not a joke in Pro League, and you actually like are putting in the time and having it pay off. And I think, you know, for CLG, this is a good opportunity to do it. NRG has been continuously improving. You know, as you said, I think they have the advantage, but definitely not currently in the top standings of North America.
And then Renegades versus Echo Fox there. Renegades, really, this is like one of their last tough matches to go for, but keep in mind what Echo Fox just did over on the E-League stream, just beating out Liquid there too and knocking them out of the running. So that is actually going to be a pretty tough one, really, for Renegades to come through and try to clean out to raise their rankings even more.
Yeah, I think as far as, you know, Echo Fox kind of just being this inconsistent team, and they show this like great promise, and I think Moses like said they're going to be a top 3 team in North America or something like that. But on the other hand, like Renegades was lackluster and is steadily improving, and they're done pretty much with the hard part of your schedule. But as you said, Echo Fox is the last difficult match that they have moving on towards, you know, looking at the playoff picture. So this is actually, I mean, the second match of the day is going to have huge kind of postseason ramifications, you know, if it ends up in 2-0 in either favor. So should be exciting.
Yeah, well, of course, we have some analysts waiting for us to talk a lot more about today's matches. So let's send things back over to them. Ryu and Dazed, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, and Lex, I think he said 300 retweets, and he goes as Pablo Escobar for Halloween this year. super excited about that. Yeah, so some really important matches as we take a look at the standings of the 14 teams in the division. There has been a change, a great change. I think everybody's been pretty positive. It's been very well received. The WISA Player Council actually decided to change the format from 4 teams per region to 6 teams per region for the offline final, changing the format to where there'll be 2 groups of 6. Each team plays the other 5 in their group in a best of 1. 3 teams move on. The winner of the group goes right to the semifinals. It's a very exciting format. We see Cloud9 14-0 with the Mortals 13-5. They've kind of distanced themselves from some of the teams underneath. We were talking a lot about 3rd and 4th place being in contention. Now it's 3rd through 6, as we do see Renegades, NRG, Optic, Echo Fox, Liquid, Winter Fox, and Selfless all somewhere in that range. And then SK, we're expecting to make a run now that they're back to full strength. Complexity, United, CLG, and Splice rounding out the bottom.
Yeah, I still think there's going to be two really good teams that are going to miss the playoffs because when I look at the rankings, I think the Tier 1 teams are Cloud9, Immortals, and SK, in no particular order. And then you also have Renegades in Tier 2, in my opinion. Tier 2 would be Renegades, NRG, Optic, Echo Fox, and Team Liquid would be like the Tier 2 teams. And that's 8 teams total. So 2 teams are going to miss out from that, whether it's Liquid, Echo Fox, you know, from those Tier 2 teams, probably, in my opinion.
Yep, and every map, especially at this point in the season, really matters. We take a look at today's matches and the breakdown on the maps. We will see CLG and NRG going up against each other on Mirage and then Cobblestone. Interesting maps for those two teams. And then Renegades and Echo Fox on Nuke and Cash. Both, they're kind of the two rare teams in the division that seem to really enjoy playing Nuke. Super excited to see that one. We'll break down Mirage for CLG and NRG. Historically, CLG has really enjoyed this map. It is one of the better maps for NRG. At Northern Arena just a few weeks ago, NRG stomped CLG in a best-of-1 on it, but then later in the best-of-3 lost to them on it. So they've definitely gone back and forth in very recent history. What are you looking for to come out from the NRG side, knowing that it's a map that they play very good Counter-Strike on? They do a great job of map control. What do they need to do to get revenge on CLG for the first map?
Well, it's going to be interesting to me to see how NRG comes out, right? Because Mirage can go, you could go a very slow down pace on Mirage, but you could also go very fast with a quick mid control, quick, you know, A hits coming out halls, A ramp, and connector. But CLG has so much experience on Mirage, and this has always been a favorite map for CLG, and I know it's a different roster, but Hazen Cutler has been part of that Mirage team that beat Fnatic, I believe it was.
Yep.
So they really know how to play the map. I've played against them on Mirage, and I've always been impressed by their knowledge of it. They do a good job of taking mid control, and they actually play. When I watch them play, I think they play a slower pace CS than NRG will. I'm not sure how NRG is going to play though, because you know, looking at CLG last night against Immortals, they just got ran over from that quick pace. So I hope we can get NRG in a Skype after if they do beat them, because I would love to know if they watch that and are like, you know what, they just stomped them by going fast. I think we should just take over connector, Tabson, run your ass in there. You know, we're going to split out A. We're just going to contact, kill them, you know, and play that sort of play style.
Yeah, we as you saw there, some of the highlights, Tabson is #1 in frags per round and average damage per round. So 2 of the top statistical categories people look at to kind of evaluate a player's performance. Obviously, stats don't always tell the story. Who do you feel like has more firepower between these two teams right now?
Well, I think the 2 best players on the server are Tabson and Pete in no particular order. I don't like comparing like similar talented players, but who are in different roles, you know? So I think they're the 2 best players in the server. And I think NRG definitely has more firepower, especially because the op battle, I think Pete has a pretty big advantage. And the way that NRG supports their fraggers in Tabson and Pete, you know, you can't ask for 2 better support players. I don't really like calling people support players, but Gabi and Legia, you know, they're like great guys to play with. They're going to throw perfect flashbangs for you. They're always going to be looking out for their teammate. Gabi's the kind of guy who, if Pete has a round and he misses 3 op shots, and Pete's like, dude, I should just AK or something, Gabi's going to be like, no, I'm going to drop you an op, you're dropping me a Tech 9, and you're going to go just own them this round. You know, and he'll give you that type of confidence, and they'll really try to do everything they can for players like Tabson and Pete to succeed. And I think that's going to help out NRG a lot, yeah. Yeah,
we definitely see what happens when Peter gets a little bit of heart, a little bit of soul.
Yeah.
Brother. So we'll take a look at this, we'll discuss a little bit on the second set of matches. That's going to be Echo Fox and Renegades. Echo Fox, they had a little bit of recent inconsistency. They had a 6-0 start to start the season. They've been 1-3 since. Seems like they started to fall off. They lost, I think, a map maybe to Complexity. Then they go out and they beat Liquid in a best-of-3 on the E-League stream for that qualifier. Huge win for them. What are you expecting to see from Echo Fox today? Which Echo Fox do we think is going to show up?
Right. So I'm not sure on the people that they played against for those first 6, you know, maps, but Echo Fox is coming into the season with a roster that is pretty well established and as you know, as far as playing with each other is concerned, right? And I think that helps them a lot coming into a season, you know, where a lot of teams are going through roster changes right before the the season starts for Pro League. And I think that helps a lot. As far as what type of Echo Fox we're going to see, you know, they just played against Liquid and they beat a really, really good Liquid team. So hopefully we're going to see that type of performance out of them, as long as they didn't, you know, drink too much Red Bull and Monster or whatever and they're crashing right now.
Yeah, how do you feel about those long, when you've got a long, grueling day of Counter-Strike, you play a very long best of 3 with, it's very intense, it's very mentally taxing, and then you're going 15, 20-minute break, and then you're going right up again to play another map against another good team. Does that impact your performance in any way if you're a player for that team?
Honestly, you know, it really depends on the individual. For someone like me, I never really drank much caffeine or anything like that, and so I was good. Like, I could play 10 hours a night, you know, and I'd be good till 4 a.m. And sometimes it won me some of these like local lands. Like, if you ever ask Semphis or Sean about it, they're like, Daze thrives at 4 a.m. because, you know, he doesn't just drink a bunch of Red Bull and start crashing or anything, right? So I think it depends on the individual, how you pace yourself. You really just want to make sure you don't drink like too much sugar. Like, you know, as I'm getting older, like your diet and how much sugar intake you have and stuff like that, dude, sometimes I stream, and if I take too much sugar or something like that, or have too much caffeine, I'll crash super hard. So you want to pace yourself, you know, you really do. And sometimes if you're inexperienced, you know, it can come really bite you in the ass.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in esports, it seems like the sports nutrition is becoming more prevalent because I think teams are starting to realize the value of a healthier lifestyle. It's definitely something that's becoming more and more important. Last quick point before we throw it to break. Nuke, we saw both these teams actually enjoy playing it. We're going to see them play it today. Echo Fox had a very dominating T side against Liquid on the map earlier. Yesterday we saw Renegades with a dominating CT half. What do we think is which one of those is going to give in that map?
Well, I don't know if they've been practicing against each other or not. You know, if both teams like Nuke and so many teams are vetoing Nuke, they have probably practiced against each other quite a few times, right? So, you know, I don't know if they know how each other play, but generally if you practice against each other, the map balance is usually weighs out, right? So like if you play against a team 100 times on a CT heavy, you know, sided map, generally speaking, if you play them in a match, each team is going to have a better CT side. Like I said, I don't know if they have practiced against each other a lot, but assuming they probably have, since both teams don't veto Nuke, I would say both teams are going to have a good CT half. No idea who's going to win. Really, like, complete coin flip for me. No clue.
And those are great because those are usually the matches that are most entertaining.
Yeah, but everyone that is watching on Nuke right now, it's such a good match to watch because both teams play it. Both teams are ahead of the curve on it, so you're going to learn a lot. I would say every single team in Pro League right now should watch it. Or if you want to be a good competitive player, you should watch it because I guarantee you, Sean and those guys, they know a lot of stuff that you don't on Nuke, and same thing for the Renegade guys.
You know, that means lots of knowledge to be gained watching that one. We want to know what you guys think. If you haven't already, be sure to follow ESL CS on Facebook and Twitter and tweet to us during the show today using ESL Pro League as the hashtag to get your tweets shown on stream, to ask questions of Daze, to give us your thoughts on the matches. And don't go anywhere because when we get back, it's going to be NRG, CLG on Mirage.
Obviously, the numbers have grown in the past few years with Counter-Strike's rise to prominence, but the real way the community has grown is just with all the companies, all the sponsors coming in. There really is that level of professionalism for players who are trying to aspire to be in the top levels.
This season, Mountain Dew League is doing a qualifier, and it's basically a quick path to the top.
If you win this Mountain Dew League, then you get into the professional division, you become a professional player.
And I'm looking forward to watching and spectating and seeing who actually makes it.
This is the galaxy's easiest meal. And this is the galaxy's easiest haircut.
I absolutely love it.
Soylent, the galaxy's easiest meal. This is the galaxy's easiest meal. And this is the galaxy's easiest race. Soylent, the galaxy's easiest meal.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, Mountain Dew, and ESEA.
Hi, and welcome back to the ESL Pro League. I am your host, Ryu, joined at the Xfinity desk by none other than Dazed. Wanted to take a moment to thank one of the sponsors that helps to make this season possible. That is Kingwin. Kingwin, thank you very much for your continued support. Looking at this first match, we've got NRG, we've got CLG playing on Mirage. They've had some back and forth, a lot of good, little bit of a rivalry possibly brewing. What are you looking forward to as we take a look at the CLG roster for this match today? For going in, knowing that CLG has the upper hand most recently at a LAN event where they won a BO3, huge value in winning at a LAN. Then they struggled online. NRG's probably a little bit more momentum in their favor. What are you looking for in this map?
So for me, I want to see how NRG and CLG play post mid control, post the T's having mid control. So what I'm going to be looking for specifically is, say CLG takes mid control, they smoke window, they smoke maybe top connector, and how NRG is going to react to it. Sometimes the Opper goes CT, sometimes the Opper moves towards market. If they're going to have a guy in ladder watching for the window boost, and watching catwalk at the same time, what the A player is going to do. Is he going to go under Balk or default? If you watch a team like Cloud9, Stewie will play default. If that mid-control happens, Jordan will stay around jungle, and Ska will generally go to CT spawn with Tim in the ladder room. And that covers all the bases. But there is weakness to that, and then does the team, when they're in that, does the other team know how to counter that? So I'm going to watch for that. I'm going to see what happens there. And then it's always interesting to me on Mirage to watch the A Halls player. Because the A Halls player, in my opinion, has the toughest job. If you do an A split, the A Halls player, there's a fine line between being aggressive and not aggressive enough. You want to be showing presence so that they have to look there. Because if they have to look at that A Halls and worry about it, then all of a sudden CT spawn can't wide peek A ramp nearly as much. The guy at default or site can't wide peek towards connector from default or A ramp because he can get shot in the back. And even the guys at jungle, if they're shooting at the connector guys, have to worry about that A Halls. So you want to keep that a constant threat, because what most people do is when they hold A, they get that Halls kill first, then they worry about everything else, right? Then they could worry about connector. Then they could worry about the A ramp. But if that A Halls guy is alive and he plays it properly, just jiggle peeking, something like Brax is perfect at, it causes so much like just of a headache, right, from the A players.
And it's interesting. I know, so we talked about Tabson, a lot of firepower, statistically the best player in Pro League this season so far. One of the things that I know that he loves to do is he mollies out A Halls and then peeks behind the molly from CT side. So super aggressive to try to eliminate that presence early. Who do you think has a better op play style, knowing that Peter's going to be a little bit more aggressive, a little risk reward, and Cutler's going to be more passive when it comes to opping CT side of this map?
Well, I think Guardian said that once in like it might have been with a Launders interview, and he just said there isn't really passive oppers and aggressive oppers. There's just, good oppers and bad oppers, right? And I think playstyle wise, Pete is definitely a better opper. He takes more risks, but at the same time, the risks he takes, he's good enough to take those risks, right? And I think one of the reasons you don't see Cutler taking those risks is because I just don't think he has that firepower, he has that in him to take those risks and come out, more often than not on the winning end of those risks.
If you're Cutler and maybe you don't have that level of confidence that Peter has, because Peter's been playing extremely well for the past several weeks. Peter's on a heater, rap god in chat. If you're Cutler and you don't have that level of confidence, how would you play? Are you going to play like CT and watching ramp? Are you going to be pretty passive? Like, what would you recommend that Cutler do, knowing that he's not going to win a lot of those 1v1 op battles against Pete, but he still needs to make an impact with the gun?
Well, for starters, I mean, when you're an opper, the only time you really try to go for those op battles is generally if the op's playing overly aggressive, right? Which Pete might do. But I think if the op isn't playing overly aggressive, you need to just focus on killing the riflers. That's like your bread and butter. When you watch Guardian play, he's not really trying to kill the opposite opper that much. He's generally going after the riflers on CT and T, because you don't want to take that battle necessarily, because as a T, usually the CT is posted. And then as a CT, why take that risk where you're going after a T when you can just go after a rifler pretty easily? If I'm Cutler here, one of the things that you need to do against a team like this is put your op where you think the rifler is going to be aggressively. So a lot of the time, if you could start off on CT spawn if you're color, because I'm guaranteeing you NRG is at one point in this round, especially if they win pistol, they'll probably try something like a fast connector. And if you're just on top of there and you smoke a ramp, have somebody spot in your halls, you're going to kill that guy coming into connector because he's probably going to peek until, you know, before the smoke blooms. But move around a lot, try to catch the riflers off guard, and you know, then you don't really have to worry about, you know, fighting Pete one-on-one or anything like that.
And so knowing NRG on their T side, they like to very pragmatically grab control of mid specifically, and then they split off of that. Very disciplined, good utility use, map control style of team. If you're CLG and you know that that's how they play it, what are you looking to punish to not allow to either fight or fight safely to prevent that mid control from occurring?
Well, most likely the mid control is going to happen. With nowadays, the spots you could smoke from, you know, when you smoke top mid, you could be behind the box, smoke top connector, you can molly their connector. It's probably going to happen. Stopping a good team from just taking control of middle, unless you're going to just push it, which is something you might do one time out of a half, right? That's like a 1 round, maybe 2 rounds, max a half. You're generally going to give them middle. You're going to have to fight from that position. So what do you do once that happens? If you watch a team like, you know, Cloud9 we talked about earlier, they're usually not aggressing at the other sides of the maps very much, but that's a very valid option, right? You could say, okay, you're going to take control of middle, but you know what? When you do that, we're going to take control of the B halls and get this guy super pushed up B. That way, we don't have to worry about it so much. We can lean for A. You know, or hey, you're pushing middle. I know you're dedicating 3 people there. Maybe we push 2 towards A ramp. That's one of the things you could do to stop it. Again, that type of strategy I don't think is a 15 round a half type strategy, because I think, you know, you could let them execute. Any good team is going to have to, you know, have both play styles, right? But that is definitely something that they could do. That's something I'd probably start out with against a team like NRG, especially if I lose the pistol. If I lose the pistol, you know, I'm probably not going to have that many nades. I'm going to say, okay, you take mid control. I'm going to take control of A halls. We're going to double push it. Now when you take A, it's going to be way more difficult.
So flipping that around, so CLG on their T side, they also like map control. They don't take it in the same way. And we do know NRG's pretty aggressive. They're very confident right now. Tapson, like I said, we know he'll push halls. Sometimes he's going to push ramp. How do you punish that and then eventually work? So maybe you throw like a mid control fake. You throw the smokes, you throw the mollies. Do you put 2 players on the periphery of each side of the map, maybe somebody holding ramp and halls, so that you can punish it when a team's going to react to that mid control attempt?
Well, it's definitely dependent on the economy, right? So if I'm a CT and I have a really strong economy, I'm probably not going to be, and they don't have that much of an economy, I'm not that worried about the mid control that much, because even if they have mid control, once you have mid control as a T, you generally still need some type of nades, you know, to execute towards A, smoking jungle, and CT, and things like that. So it really just depends on the economical, you know, state of the teams.
Gotcha. Super important to watch. Mid control, good utility use. NRG is a really good team to watch for both of those things. So definitely a lot of knowledge being dropped here today. It looks like the players are getting ready, should be going to the pistol round shortly. So it's going to throw this over to Lex and Blue Stash. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much. And Lex, let's get your thoughts on this one, as it should be getting started at any second here. CLG versus NRG. Who's your team to take this?
I think despite kind of the presumptions that we have that like CLG, it being Mirage, kind of an open map for them to take, I really think NRG, I mean, they have the best player in Pro League right now. They have Peters on a heater. I think that was actually the Rap God comment. I directly stole that. That's not. My apologies, Steve. In any case, yeah, I think NRG is going to be one of these teams that somehow squeaks into the playoff race, and I think it's going to start here tonight, and I think they're going to take both maps. But we'll see. I mean, pistol round is about to go live.
And getting into the actual playoffs themselves now gets a lot easier, of course, since we have expanded the actual qualifying rank up to number 6. So 6 teams from each region are going to be heading to the LAN finals this season instead of 4. And at the moment, NRG is in contention to be in that top 6. So we will jump into the pistol round now. Once again, here on Mirage, as NRG will start up on the T side, and CLG will be jumping over to the CT side.
Yeah, and it's like the majority of NRG, actually, all 5 players are storming mid right now, pushing towards Catwalk. Hayes takes down 2. Fugly returns. Connector control goes the way of NRG, but certainly not a good spot here for NRG. And Fugly actually finds one more, but he's in a 1v3 at this point. CLG has handled this mid control extremely well thus far.
Now, Fugly really just trying to make whatever he can towards the end of this round, but won't be finding much. Kusta ends up shutting it down. And for CLG, they will be claiming the pistol here, getting their advantage, not even close to a plan from NRG, so we should probably be able to expect a big buy-up coming into this round.
I wonder if that was some sort of like a counter-strat attempt from NRG or maybe CLG the other way. Because like the entirety of both teams were at mid right there, more or less. Like all attention was paid towards NRG. And I didn't really see any sort of real strategic advantage of having done that, but nevertheless, Fugly's the only one to get kills for NRG in that round. And they just have pistols and a few sets of armor on the board.
Not a huge buy either from NRG just as of yet. Only a couple guys actually buy out completely. Some are leaving themselves with about $700 to $800 left over, and Tapson finding a nice early shot here on a Cutler, bringing him down to about 70. Also more of them looking to slowly creep in from underpass and take that slow control of the area here, but hasn't actually made the mark just yet. And of course, as usual on these second round force-ups, it is going to be that bit of a slow process for CLG too. They'll be looking to try and avoid any unnecessary deaths, with NRG trying to do some cheekier stuff here to make it up. And we can see one of that
German
happening
run
now.
boost, boys.
We'll see if it works in a second. Waiting for the timing, and I believe a nade just got tossed over too, so they can support it a little bit better, but still waiting for it to go. And there we go, the leap. They've got the smoke into the window. Unfortunately, nobody from the CT side is waiting, but it doesn't get messed up, and that's the good thing. However, what he didn't see is Kusta until he goes for that jump peek. But Kusta doesn't really seem to want much of a part of this right now. He's going to fall back and let these guys have mid-control.
There are no eyes on connector right now, so Tabson's going to be able to get up here. Hopefully find somebody off guard, but NRG just storming the bomb site. Cutler caught out alone over there towards CT spawn. He falls to Tabson. The whole bomb site is basically in control of NRG right now. And they are just taking down CLG one by one. And Hayes is kept up in this palace, and he's the last teammate remaining here for CLG. Peter will find him. And that run boost gave him the information that, you know, Kusta was falling off a catwalk. They just kind of walked up to connector with one smoke from top mid towards that jungle area, and they just kind of walked in. Cutler had no idea. Suddenly, NRG back in this game, 1-1.
Obviously, CLG way too late to be able to react to that, so they are going to drop that round. And actually, first time seeing this in quite a while, we won't be seeing the CT team that loses the second round going for an aggressive response to it. They are just going to save directly after that and worry about the next upcoming round. So unless, again, we see some upset on their part, more than likely NRG is going to take the lead off of this round here. All they're going to do is close it out.
CLG had almost no kills going in their favor that round, and so NRG recovered most of the SMGs and the scout that Peter has, so they know that the money for NRG probably not going to be able to reset if they force into this round. A nice choice by them, and Kusta actually opened things up with a nice kill on a Peter. Takes a little bit of damage for his trouble, but NRG now in a 4v5.
Fugly going to sneak into. He finds that first kill. Sabrosa still hanging out on the other edge, and looks like he might want to go for the battle in a moment here. Leggy at the same time looking to push back in, but we can see Sabrosa peeking out slowly there. Does manage to get some damage on the Fugly, but he has the overarching advantage. Takes it down. Even if he still was having trouble taking him out, there was the push from Cat coming in there at any moment. So a bit shaky at the start there, but again, things go very quickly back into the control of NRG. So just Cutler and Hayes are the last two alive, and they're doing the job of just hunting down any additional kills that they can find.
Yeah, Cutler does recover that scout, and actually Hayes gets a nice dink on a God B, but he's just waiting for this flank to come in. Legia distracted by his teammates, able to get that kill on a Cutler. Nice start from NRG after losing that pistol round in a decisive fashion. 2-1 now. NRG pretty much in full control, right? And I don't think CLG is going to force into this round. That said, Kusta just spotted UMP with some armor, so might as well. He has plenty of money. The rest of his team will just get some pistols. And, you know, as I kind of mentioned, I mean, NRG is sitting pretty right now with their bank. They've lost almost no members in the last two rounds, so any sort of damage that CLG can do will be important, but it's not going to have any huge ramifications moving forward. For NRG, they're just trying to secure these rounds as cleanly as possible.
And we can see NRG once again proceeding forward here to try to make the push over and out onto the B-bomb site. Sabrosa hanging back here as well, further into the site. As they hear all that early noise coming in, CLG actually do go for a pretty early rotation over to the bomb site, but it's given up by NRG. They wrap it back around and work their way towards A instead, after meeting some resistance there from the CLG roster.
Yeah, they're just showing some presence towards B, probably draw, rotate. They know that this is going to be an eco out of CLG, more than likely. So as soon as you kind of get the sense that it is an eco, you know they're going to overload a bomb site. And they almost hit their timing window, but CLG is starting to rotate back now. Ethan has called the information that they're coming towards A. The flash comes in, Peter's able to clear him out, and now the A split is on, but Hayes and Cutler wait at jungle. It's only a matter of time before Gabi hunts both of them down. So Kusta over here towards CT spawn, the last bastion of defense for the A bomb site, and well, tabseN has taken him out, and now it's Subroza in a 1v5. Maybe able to recover a gun here, but not a whole lot of damage being dealt thus far.
He ducked back down, and again, they've already found him too, so they're actually trying to spray him through it. It's working, actually. They tinked him.
Yeah.
Doesn't do much damage, granted, but still down at 80 HP, and eventually gets himself out to the duel, which Fugly will close out, and there you go. NRG get themselves the 3-round start. CLG with 1 in the middle there because they took the pistol, but now they get guns in their hands, and this is where the real fight begins.
Yeah, I was curious to see Fugly kind of stop shooting after he hit him in the head. Clearly, he knew Subroza was going to move, but I mean, we heard that clear as day as casters, so you got to figure he did it as well. But yeah, gun round coming out here from CLG, and you're down 3-1 at this point. Famas, you know, opting for more utility, always important when you're anchoring the B-bomb site, but the rest of his team do have rifles. That said, NRG just going for their slow default. Peter's actually worked that off all the way back towards the A side of the map, so it's just Gabi and tabseN over here at top mid.
C2, tabseN gonna look to move in. There's that nice smoke there. It gives them the room to push forward. Or cat a little bit there without having to worry too much, but Cutler is actually going to get smoked out, but he decides to push through it. Spots the legs of tabseN, finds the shot, and Kusta grabs another one from window to eliminate Gabi. NRG wanting to take that mid control again, but they're going to get punished by CLG, and this holds them with a nice advantage. 2 into the final 3, looking for a way in, but Ethan just jumping up and down, gives away his body to Peter. He's going to find that trade kill, and now looking for more control. 2 good smokes to cover off most of the CTs, which are sitting right around here towards jungle and steps, and Hayes at the moment doesn't even want to dare to peek back out.
Yeah, I was actually talking about this kind of a situation with Ryu before the match that I'll touch on after this round's over, but now Cutler creeping in from CT spawn with that AWP, simply waiting for his teammates to regroup from that B-bomb site. Kusta and Subroza over at jungle. Fugly's in connector, Peter and Leggy are over at A ramp, so this post-plant situation is already beautifully set up from the terrace. It's going to be very difficult for CLG to crack. As Cutler does creep in, and the clock is slowly winding down. He's able to get the kill on a Cutler. Smoke goes down on the bomb. Fugly is really the only hope to stop this plant from going down. He finds one, so that's Leggy in a 1-on-2, and he's caught out in the open. Cutler finds him. The defuse will come in. Kusta grabs it. Nice retake there from CLG, and actually, 3 of those kills came off the back of, I mean, Cutler had the entry over at mid, then on the retake, found 2 of his own. Nice play from him that round.
Very, very close, though, at the end of the day, and unfortunately for Leggy, just outclassed there. Didn't really have the utility to get back into the site, and losing his teammate there. The positions weren't working out so great either. So we'll see that one going back into the hand of the CTs, but with NRG having all the money they have, there's no problem getting them a rebuy, and they're just going to go right back into this round, and they also go right back to the top mid control too. 3 of their players pushing for it, with Fugly working his way back over in the halls approaching the B-bomb site. We're really moving beyond that just yet, though.
Yeah, and this is in contrast to the last round. I mean, they had Peter back towards A, and it was just tabseN and Gabi at mid, and they realized that CLG's game plan wasn't really to sit back and wait to see what was going on. Cutler and Kusta kind of paired up from both window and catwalk to actually pressure mid, pinch on it from connector as well. And the 2 kills went quickly for CLG that round, but here's tabseN opening things up on a Kusta. That's a great start to this round as mid control is fully in NRG's favor. And Cutler's actually lurking around here at connector with an op, so tabseN wisely has that smoke at top connector to protect him from any kind of A peaks as his teammates creep up catwalk.
You can see tabseN slowly working his way up there too. Nicely done. Grabs Cutler as he tries to work his way up the steps, and also Hayes too going to be found out in a moment here. Doesn't even notice that the fence have been broken just behind him there, so Gabi is going to get the execution. And again, the site gets cleared out pretty easily. All they got to worry about now is Ethan and Subroza trying to sneak in. He dinks Gabi, but doesn't get the kill, and tabseN following it up with another quick one. He gets 3 kills on this round. They traded out against NRG again, hold their lead, and that's also going to be another reset against CLG.
Yeah, and I think that's a smart move from NRG, just like punish any sort of mid-control attempt from CLG, and it throws them on a reset, like you said, so here's CLG probably in near double save territory. But, you know, in that first gun round, what we saw out of NRG was they lost the 2 entries over at mid, lost any kind of map control. They just regrouped, and then they walked Peter into the bomb site. He was able to find 2 entries, and suddenly it was a 3v3 again. Post-plant didn't go his way, but NRG has since recalculated their strategy and have overloaded mid consistently, and these picks are just going the way of NRG just about every round since.
Subroza is going to get pushed back down by the van. Won't be able to spot the push from the apartments just as well as he'd like here. And also, I believe they should have spotted the shadow of him just around the corner here, but still Fugly being cautious nonetheless of the jump shot. Still in an eco, though. Not a whole lot to fear as Fugly slowly sneaks into the site and also waits for his teammates to get in good positions to start this execute, which there we go. Gabi's going to open it up. Fugly follows it up with a second kill against Sabrosa, and it's all falling to pieces here. Ethan's the last one alive. He's in the market, but beyond possibly getting one of these kills into the lower players, there's not a lot of hope for him to do anything else here, as it will be another round for the guys from NRG.
Yeah, and this is huge just for NRG. I mean, after the retake round that CLG won, it kind of set NRG up for success financially. CLG basically lived with only a few members of the team, suffered great losses across the board, and then the next round, of course, NRG won with 5 members alive, sent them to a reset. Now here it is, 5-2. This half is already quickly slipping out of the hands of CLG, and NRG is just taking full control.
And so for NRG themselves here, they're just proceeding over towards a direct A hit, at least at the beginning of the round here, as it will be a second eco from the CLG roster. Most aren't even getting armor behind their buys as of yet either, so the money still very, very low, but as they move in, Fugly, it's a nice angle against Ethan. He's even got another opponent flashed a little bit further out there. We do see Tabson actually getting overwhelmed out in mid, and Fugly having some trouble killing the player by steps right now. So he'll be brought down to 24 HP, and on a peak, Kusa will take him down. So this, I wouldn't call this round over just yet. I mean, they're being held back here, but there's another kill. Legia burns one alive. Peter catches the second one. It's even, down to a 2v2. Flashbang still raining out from the T's to try and hold CLG back from moving in for the retake, but it's still alive, it's still well. And at the moment, NRG are holding back to a big degree to allow them in, and there you go, perfect Flashbang. Lets Sabrosa walk right up and destroy Peter. Down to a player back on ramp again, and they're sticking this defuse. First kill from him. Cutler's holding on to it right now. It's a full 10-second defuse, but Gabi, he's not moving in as we had 2 seconds, 1 second, and he's just gonna defuse it. Gabi doesn't even push back out, and CLG are gonna find the round.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Gabi has 1 HP. He knows, the chances of Cutler sticking the bomb are probably relatively high, but you pretty much have a lost round if you try and go after it. You're going to have to run after him, make a bunch of noise, and you're going to lose the gunfight 9 times out of 10. So, interesting decision from Gabi to actually not go for it, but I understand his thought process there. Nevertheless, it's an okay round to lose for NRG. Still have plenty of money left in the bank, and this gives it an opportunity. It's an eco. You never want to lose an eco, but it's a good round to lose if you're NRG with a chance to upset and reset CLG now in this round.
Peter still waiting for the opening engagement here too, and Hayes in a nice position, as you can see, sitting behind the smoke. Gives him a little bit of coverage, and he won't unfortunately have anyone to deal with back over there through underpass, so won't really be able to impact as much as he wanted. Spots the players on top mid again, so they know that there's a presence once more coming in from this area of the map. But they've got to actually stop it, and this has been the problem as Tabson catches Kusta trying to jump up onto the fence here, and Fugly is going to start his execute leading up into the B site too. Good smoke, doesn't let Sabrosa see a whole lot. He's just taking guesses right now, trying to spot Fugly. There's Hayes in the window grabbing one. Peter with a fast response, and Ethan here too, trying to get back out towards mid, but having trouble doing so as NRG are coming off pretty much all angles at this point.
Yeah, curious decision from Kusta to try and get up on that fence. I mean, he must just not have known how far pushed up the terrace were at that point. So conceded the opening pick, and Fugly actually on the extremity of the map towards B falls. So they know the play is probably going towards A at this point, and believe it or not, there's a member of NRG actually pushed up into jungle at this point. That's Tabson. So
they're watching for
Cutler over here at CT spawn is about to get a lot of action over there from Palace, but he's going to get the jump on Peter. And that's a bomb drop in A site now, so Legia is stuck in Palace. He waiting for Tabson to make a move. Tabson does grab Ethan, so 2v2 now. Sabrosa and Cutler not quite ready to make their move, not quite sure where the bomb actually is. Sabrosa finally rotates after the bomb does go down. And so Tabson and Legia setting up their post plants wisely. Tabson towards connector, and Legia falls back towards A ramp. And this is a must-win for NRG and CLG at this point. This is an important round.
Moving out quickly. Looking for their first opening kills, too, to start this one off. NRG's still just piled back. They're not really looking for an active attempt to get back in just yet. They will start to look for that player on ramp pretty early, though, but they haven't spotted back over there towards connector yet for Tabson. The flashbang goes out, doesn't hit Sabrosa at all, so he finds that first kill very easily. Moving in, Tabson's already lit, so the second one's not too hard. Also, it was directly on top of Cutler, but apparently didn't spread it up. So he's going to be able to jump right on it there and find the defuse.
That's actually, I mean, you want to talk about luck versus timing, Blue. That was just lucky that Molotov had just been inches closer. That defuse might not have come in. Nevertheless, Sabrosa with a nice retake, couple of kills there. Finds 3 on the round after killing Fugly at upper B. So 5-4 now. Not all is lost for CLG. Another gun round coming out from NRG, of course, as they had plenty of money stacked up from the rounds prior. And they should be able to buy even after this one if they lose. So CLG financially struggling, need to string some rounds together now.
We can see, too, still putting up the active attempts to defend the middle area since NRG have been big fans of this 3-man push over towards top mid. This time, though, it won't be as direct. We still did have Fugly moving in to play around with the apartments a little bit early on here, but you can see Sabrosa too. Double back, and Fugly's gonna go for this pop flash out for it, looking for the first kill, but unfortunately Sabrosa is long gone. Has fallen back, gotten out of the way of the spray. He does go back in for the re-peek, but it's the same story. Fugly is already evacuated by the time he goes for the spray, so he won't find anything.
Yeah, and NRG opted to go a little bit more slowly towards mid this round. See it calculated to kind of just wait to see if there's any aggression from CLG. There was not, so just Kusta and Hazed over here towards mid. Cutler is already back towards CT spawn at this point in the round. And Hazed is actually getting a little aggressive at Connector. His position's now known, but he knows they're in top mid. Fugly finds that frag from underpass, and it's a huge entry from NRG.
Ethan here too, still looking to find an impact himself from within side of Connector, and he's going to do that. Flying colors, first pickup for him. Gabi does catch the trade, but Kusta in window just destroys the rest of the hit. It all falls to Gabi now in a 1v3. Moving up to the site, he clears this side at least as Cutler will give him the room to find the plant. But actually holding beyond that and pulling off the clutch is where things are going to get a lot more difficult, especially considering he's only got a single flashbang to do this with. But moving out a bit to hunt down for frags. CLG are very passive about it though. They want to wait for him to move out, and there we go. They spotted him. Cutler will start to move in too, and there you go. Immediately finds the kill against Gabi, shuts him down, and CLG will tie this up again at 5 rounds to both teams.
Yeah, and Cutler's actually playing pretty well with the AWP so far in this match. I'd say he's winning almost all of the gunfights that he takes. But I think the real story this round, I mean, Ethan with a nice Connector hold for a bit, but it's Kusta that comes in and grabs 2 from that ladder room position. If you can have somebody that can anchor essentially catwalk full time and be aggressive in that ladder room and window area, it's really difficult to flush him out without using significant amount of resources. So NRG opting to just go right up there through Connector. Kusta, ever wise to it, finds 2. Secures CLG this now tie ball game.
And so we still see NRG though sticking to the same strats, and as they move forward too, Kusta not actually spotting the players jumping down into the approach over here towards Connector. Tapsin manages to sneak through the ranks. That it is going to give them early control, but as we've seen many times before, it's not this that's the problem. Actually getting beyond it and moving it onto a site where we do see Kusta moving in. Nicely done. Gets the blind flick onto Fugly, destroying him, and again, stunning NRG to try and move towards a site within a few seconds here.
Yeah, and I understand what Fugly's going for there. He hasn't seen an op upper B the entire time, but he still uses the flashbang to kind of push it off, but he just waits a moment too long, and Kusta's able to readjust, get the flick, just anticipate his movement. And Tapsin actually comes in with 2. He's been winning these duels at Connector the entire game thus far, and essentially opening up the A bomb site for NRG. The question is, are his teammates on the extremities of the map regrouping and actually able to survive long enough for these retakes to be held off? And unfortunately, up until this point, they've been relatively unsuccessful. I mean, in this 3v3 scenario, CLG has historically won these just about every round, so NRG need to come up with something quick. And Peter's actually over there towards Catwalk ladder room. And he does have an AWP. The bomb is planted for him, so in no sense of rush is CLG just casually taking their time. They smoke off Connector, and now they know Peter's over there towards Connector as well. Gabi and Legia must push out from this A ramp to make something happen, and it's just Peter. And of course, Sabrosa just spins around and is able to take him out. CLG is just on point with their retakes. Like, there's nothing else you can really say about it. It's not huge overstepping and mistakes from NRG. Yeah, they could hit a shot or 2 here and there, but I mean, if they're losing, you know, 1 or 2 players to these picks that are coming around the map, there's Ethan, Kusurf's found the first one, and you're down in numbers when you're taking this bomb site. Unfortunately, like, if your retakes are on point, a lot of these times the CTs come out on top. So NRG able to bring out 1 last buy, I believe. This is the last in their bank, but will be enough for a full buy.
4 rounds in a row now we've seen CLG manage to pull off retakes, and I believe all 4 of them have been on the A bomb site too, so an unfortunate.
Yeah, it's 4 defuses in the row on the A bomb site. 4 in a row.
Been unfortunate for NRG that they just can't find what's needed to close out, and they always seem to get pinched there too over towards the T ramp, because they always fall back and send their players there, but every time they try to re-peek back out, they lose the duel. Every single time. And it's, well, we've seen some success sending Tabsin back out towards mid, holding the Connector there. It's still that area back over the tier up that kills you. There's the jump boost, and Tabsin actually falls, and it's not just him either. Gabi also gets eliminated. Best return of damage they get is against Hage, knocking off half of his health.
Oh. And a molly.
So we will start to see the guys from NRG push back in again for what reinforcements they have left here. But Kusta spotting Peter a little bit further back, shutting him down. I believe they know that Fugly's sitting here in Sandwich. He certainly hasn't been quiet about his position. And he's going to get a flash support from a teammate to try to make this push. Grabs the first kill. There's no one picking up for the trade initially, but there's players moving in from multiple angles, and Cutler is going to work his way back out from the cat area and from the jungle area, apologies, to take him down. And it's left to Legia. Again, a 1v3, outclassed. It's another A hit. He's going to try to peek out, but he's immediately shut down by Cutler. And there you have it. CLG pull off another A-side retake. Not like this one was going to be necessarily hard, but still, they do find a 7th round and are starting to come ahead of NRG quite a bit.
Yeah, this Cutler and Kusta double op has been extremely powerful to at least whittle the numbers down from NRG. But Cutler and Subroza, I think, are the two key members of the retakes consistently on the A-bomb site. So for them to kind of consistently be in a situation where they feel confident enough to go for the retake, they don't need to worry about saving guns. Their money hasn't always been good. They're confidently going into this bomb site, you know, knowing that we have 3 members alive, the bomb's planted, we got a little bit of map to cover till we actually can set up the retake. NRG's not getting overly aggressive and not pushing into the CTs, and maybe that's where the flaw is actually occurring, is you're giving CLG a chance to actually form up a retake, use the rest of their utility, and push into the bomb site, because every time, I mean, NRG is just set up beautifully for a round win, and then they crumble towards the end, the dying seconds of the round. I mean, what is that, 4 rounds in a row? 5 rounds in a row that they've defused the bomb in the A-bomb site? Like, 6 defuses total this half, and now it's 7-5. CLG's back in the lead.
It's been the same type of take for the most part every single round, too. It's always been players start off with aggression towards top mid, and then, of course, they try to make the push from there to get control of connector. If they get it, that's great, but then if not, then the players on ramp just have to try and push the last second. And, I mean, the last round there, it finally just got utterly destroyed. Top mid, pressure didn't get anywhere at all. Only tried to go for that run boost. Both players get shut down immediately.
I like the German CS run boost, though. Whenever I cast a European match, I'm just like, oh, look, alternate attacks. I wonder what round we're going to see some run boosts. And, you know, Tabson's just bringing that onto the squad. I like it. But I think one of the stories that you can kind of, like, say what NRG is doing correctly is sometimes they are, like, cleanly taking mid-control. Not always, as we saw that last round didn't work with Tabson. But Tabson alone has been essentially winning multiple duels in a row towards the connector area. I mean, Hazed has consistently lost them as well. It's goes to show that I think NRG are using their utility correctly to take mid. If he's not even an underpass player, I mean, that's Fugly usually that's coming through underpass and actually helping the mid players take that control. But Tabson's just soloing the fights most of the time and winning them over Hazed, and that's where the A-bomb site, and I think why the mid game goes like, okay, guys, we're going to split A, throw your jungle smoke, let's push into the A-bomb site, and it's clean up until that point. But then, as I said, members of the team on the extremities of the map, whether it's Fugly over towards upper B that's falling early, anybody really that is just dying unnecessarily, you know, in early parts of the round to the members of CLG and their aggressive, not necessarily aggressive peaks from their ops, but you know, just kind of over pushing into bomb sites, I guess you could say.
Yep.
It's costing them rounds, but you know, the retakes are a whole nother story.
All right, guys, well, we are on pause now, and we are going to jump it back into things. We will see if NRG have corrected their issues, of course, and are able to get themselves back on the winning train. They were in good form before, but as of these past few rounds now, CLG has just been shutting them down on every single retake attempt, as NRG hasn't really changed anything up, so maybe a bit of a different flavor this time. Well, they are going to abandon the top mid pressure at the very least. That's still going to be very, very direct. Already trying to push into the A-bomb site. Goppy leads the charge. Does get brought down to 37 HP because of a man further back on the site there. Ethan doing that damage, but he's going to get mollied at soft point, though, and Tabson walks up a bit awkward, but Fugly gets the kill, and then Tabson holds up on the bench there, turns around, and finds another one into Haze. Fast control, and all of a sudden, they have the advantage.
Yeah, and this is just so smart from NRG. I mean, Goppy calling the tactical pause and moving straight into an A hit. They know that Ethan's been left alone pretty much in the A-bomb site throughout this half. And Subroza, like their T-spawn, finds one. Not sure they're going to go for this retake attempt. They are relatively comfortable with money, but forcing too many rebuys obviously could send them into financial crisis. That said, they can just save these 3 weapons and maybe take some guns off of NRG, as Subroza is sticking around towards T-spawn, drops Peter. They already have 2 ops, no reason to salvage that, but, you know, nice round from NRG. And at this point, not a whole lot of rounds left to play for in this half. So if you can just steal 1 or 2 more away at the end of this, it'd be huge.
They keep walking into Subroza. He's picked up 3 of them now in this round alone. Like he finally had enough of it. Does retreat back inside of the palace, but still huge damage done. They don't really have enough cash to go for full rebuys on quite a few of these guys.
That was over hunting to like the nth degree. The idea that you'd give away that many guns and now you have like $0 on the board, and well, I guess, you know, pick up a Mac 10, Peter, except they're not saving. Well, whatever, 7-6, 2 rounds left in this half. CLG definitely want to try and reset NRG here. Send NRG on way force up for the final round would be good, but a nice classic LG/SK strat, just going up catwalk quickly and pressuring from upper B is NRG. First 2 kills go the way of CLG though, and Hayes will fall, so now control the B bomb site being hotly contested from both Legia, Tabson, and Fugly.
The ops hold it now. Sabrosa still deep in the site too. Is going to move right in there. Denies the plan. Has another opponent flash. Fugly can't even get himself to bench, and it's just Tabson now alone. He gets one more kill, but he's immediately traded out. CLG hold off another fast attempt from NRG as they try to go back for that mid control. Punished way too heavily, and the remaining members of NRG just can't get themselves clearly onto the site. Nobody even checked this part of it previously. Sabrosa was just allowed to sit here. When they went for the plan, he caused havoc.
Yeah, I think the analyst desk was talking about just kind of how CLG had recently played NRG at LAN, and maybe they're feeling confident. But this is the most confident I've seen at a Sabrosa like the entire season thus far. The man literally just ran to the B-bomb site, retook it all by himself. And on all of the A retakes, he's been there and he's been present, and he's had some impact frags. That's huge when CLG needs somebody to step up. Obviously, Kustin, Cutler have answered thus far, but the young guns coming in now, proving their worth as NRG broke for this last round, buying up whatever they can. Sabrosa's going to get pressured. He finds himself in the middle of the Molotov, 28 HP remaining, but he's quickly being swarmed from the entire NRG team. Finally, Peter drops him. And fighting through the smoke is Fugly over towards Kustan Catwalk, but this flank is coming in from Hazed.
There's
this
Ethan.
might spell some danger here for CLG.
He's starting to sneak back in. More of an impact too is Peter's actually going to be in the back there too. It was burning for a second. Tags into it again, but Hayes starts it off. First one spins around to grab a second one. Last one upstanding is going to be Gabi with just a CZ and a 1v3. Moves in. Doesn't even get a single one of them, unfortunately. He's going to go down. Hayes flank saves the round for CLG, and they're going to pick up a 9th one to end this half. 9-6. Very good indeed from CLG here as NRG, unfortunately, seeming a bit rusty on that T side. They'll have to look to recover on their CT side. The second half, guys, will be coming up in just a little bit. Stick around for more action right here at the ESL Pro League.
He's gonna get the one kill in that.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize for that technical issue, but we are bringing it back to you, of course, the second half in just a few moments. Once again, it's going to be CLG versus NRG for those that are just joining us, and we did see CLG actually taking a big edge off their CT side, going up 9-6.
Yeah, I mean, it was 5-2 at one point, and NRG was in essentially full control of the game. They had so much money stacked up for, I think it was like the next 4 rounds they were able to buy straight, even though they lost them. And just the fact that CLG was able to kind of claw their way back into this game, I mean, it speaks a lot about character and just how talented some of the players are on CLG, and just it takes that extra step sometimes to actually get over the hump and actually battle back from that kind of diversity. So not a bad half from either team. I mean, NRG probably happy with 6, but knowing that, again, you only got 1 round in the last 7,
yeah,
is a little disheartening. But that said, I mean, CLG probably feeling confident. You don't want to concede 6 rounds in your CT side of Mirage ever, but, you know, it was a heroic half, I think, in the end for CLG. So carrying into this next half, I think they'd be feeling pretty good about themselves.
And NRG, of course, a lot of issues to correct. Hopefully, I think a lot of them a lot more relevant to the T side than they are on the CT side. So we would hope for a quick reset now for these guys as they do get into the second half and maybe a bit of a cleaner performance. But if CLG also brings a good T side to the table here, then that's where their struggle continues, unfortunately, after things went very one-dimensionally on that T side. If the communication is an issue and if things don't improve, then we will continue to see them fall apart more than likely in the second half. And it could be CLG taking this first map.
Yeah, and I think the main story of that half is like we talked about a lot about mid control both in the pregame and over at the analyst desk, and both teams kind of answered each other's aggression pretty well. At different points in the half, we saw NRG extremely dominant towards middle and connector area. And on the flip side, CLG a lot of the times was just conceding it, understanding that, you know, NRG was going to pressure a lot of what they had there. And the way that they kind of, you know, responded to the A splits that were so effective for NRG was, again, mounting up proper retakes and making sure your teammates are working together. So as they went to those bomb sites, I think, you know, CLG definitely found some team chemistry there on the CT side. Hopefully they can carry it over to the T side and make this a game.
All right, guys, well, we are jumping into the second half now, so let's take a look once more at how our two teams are going to fare now that the sides have been switched. CLG goes on the offense with NRG, jumping over to the CT side. And CLG are going to start things off pretty aggressively, with the exception of Ethan. Everybody else is rolling into the back B halls, trying to approach up to that site pretty quickly. No execute just yet, but with nades in hand, it doesn't look like they are going to waste any time. Probably going to be rolling directly in and trying to take control, which puts a lot of pressure over here onto Fugly. But try and hold it and trying to spot this too. Sees the grenades, tries to tap away as they push in, but not going to find all that much besides a little bit of damage. Thankfully, Gobby rotates in, finds one pickup. There's no coverage to stop Fugly, so he finds a second one. 5 versus 3 now, as they do try to roll out their underpass and change this into a mid to A hit instead. But even there, they've got coverage ready to go. Legia, back out by Jungle, finds one. Fugly with a second. Peter's going to roll in, just flicks onto the final one to shut down Cutler. NRG restore their advantage here and get themselves on the path to immediately tying this game back up in the second half.
I think that's an old Fnatic strat. You throw the beast fake, you're throwing the full smokes, you basically drop in front of get right, go up catwalk, send your bomb down through underpass, and basically send all 4 members through catwalk and underpass towards A, have 1 A lurker, and effectively split A. Unfortunately, they had lost 3 members by that point, so despite Ethan being in Palace and in a position to potentially flank and pinch on the A bomb site, there was no real teammates coming up that could help him at all. So NRG cleanly taking that pistol round. Nice attempt from CLG, but did not happen. And now it's NRG looking to defend an A hit.
Thompson getting ready for this one too. As once more, we're just going to see CLG try and force the issue out onto this bomb site. Looking for that plant, which actually they're probably actually going to be able to find that there, as we do see smoke being used to grab it, but very quickly, however, not really a lot of impact being found. Just Sabrosa hunting for one of these guys to jump up on the opposite side of Firebox, but they won't get that. They'll get the plant at the very least, which was the main goal of this round, but it'll be an 8th for NRG, and a very clean one at that.
Yeah, I noticed Tapson didn't have head armor over there towards triple box, and he's wide peeking out. I'm just like cringing. I'm like, please, no running Tech 9 1 taps from long range, please. Luckily, he cleans it up nicely and calculates his peaks effectively. Waits for his teammates to pop flash in before peeking. So, nice hold there from NRG. Obviously, conceding the bomb plant will allow CLG a buy, and NRG gonna hold on to their SMGs. Peter holding on to the scout. Not a bad decision necessarily, but they got another coming up against AKs at this point.
Again, nice flashbang, but Peter actually missing the shot. Grabs it on the re-peek there and also messes up the nade as he tries to go back in, but thankfully doesn't worry about that as he's a dead man anyway. Hayes will take him down, brings us back down into a 5-on-4 for CLG. And they take that mid-control, but they'll be moving into either of the sites just yet. Still taking their time with this one. NRG a bit skittish now. Do start to smoke off the other angles to prevent them from moving into either the connector or up over there on the cap.
Yeah, Sabrosa very nearly taking the head off of Fugly over there at upper B. Spamming through that smoke. I almost was at the point where I could scream back very loudly, but did not happen. Nevertheless, going for some connector control is Kusta. Tabson's aware of it. And again, Tabson over here towards connector must win these duels to protect the save bomb site. And he did it so well on the terrorist side to take it. But that said, just waiting passively is NRG, and CLG again on the flip side doing the same thing after they've taken connector control, obviously falling back towards that B bomb site, or sorry, away from the B bomb site back towards A. Just trying to regroup, split on the A bomb site, and NRG is stacked towards B at this point. Legia is all alone over here. Finds one. If he can get the second one, this might be doable, and he does find the second. The bomb goes down. Tabson finds one at connector as well. So now it's a 3-on-2 retake scenario for NRG, and Kusa's poised over there to prevent any kind of rotations coming in from stairs. Sabrosa pushing out of the A bomb site, catches a flash to the face. Gabi dueling over here at connector. It's not looking good for CLG at this point. Sabrosa will fall. Now Kusta now in a 1v3, 14 seconds remaining, no bomb in hand. Definitely going to go the way of NRG is this round.
Kusta, again, really just trying to work with whatever he can find at this point, but running directly over towards CT with his knife out. Certainly not going to help him to find anything. He will be very promptly shut down by Fugly, and we will indeed tie this game up at 9 rounds to both teams. CLG will have to go on to an eco, See what exactly they bring to the table with it. But for the most part, NRG have a nice advantage here and can use this round to stack up some extra cash and fortify their economy.
Yeah, it was a little interesting to me. I mean, CLG spread out in a default. Ethan was over there towards A halls almost the entire round. And then kind of faded off, tapered off back towards B. And then when CLG regrouped back towards A, I mean, that's always the threat, is that somebody over at A ramp has been pushed up, has taken some map control, and Legia was in a very uncharacteristic / uncommon spot. So the fact that he's able to find 2 there pretty much wins NRG the round. And they only kept SMGs versus AK, so financially, NRG again in full control of this game. And that's actually been the story from CLG all week, is that they win rounds, important rounds, but then quickly lose money control and are more or less forced to play the game of the other team throughout. So 10-9 now. Let's see if NRG can capitalize on this early advantage.
Deciding to go for the 5 AK buy up here. Money's still really not in a good enough position to be able to go for the op pickup just as of yet. So they won't be rolling with that. They're just going to still stick with rifles here. And this time, again, just very decisively just moving their players to split up, as 2 will work their way over here to the back B halls and probably transition at least one of them into the underpass area. 2 more go for top mid. Usual grenades going into the window area there, push them back. So early mid control will be gained by CLG, but won't be able to move outside of it. Obviously, there's plenty of players of NRG are still ready to defend that, and they weren't really quiet about kicking this at all. So like they're going to be unprepared for a push on either of these angles.
Yeah, once again, CLG just splitting up into a default. And I mean, NRG did get aggressive at A ramp and upper B in the previous rounds. So unfortunately for CLG, they have not done so yet. And as I say that, Peter does take down Sabrosa. That's always the threat when you're playing that upper B T-side kind of default role. It's the aggression from the CTs. If you try and spot for information, sometimes you do get punished by an AWP, and Peter, a veteran opper, ever aware of the advantage that he can give his team by finding that pick, and he does on a Sabrosa. So that's a 4v5, terror side of Mirage. Never an easy feat. Definitely want to regroup with your team, pick a bomb site to hit, and it looks like they're going towards A at this point. Cutler and Ethan regrouping towards the A ramp.
He's starting to sneak his way back out here too. Has the actual good amount of control here, but the problem is Gabi's waiting, but just as I say that, he looked away, and not only this too, but they've got 2 more entries in the A bomb site, so it's completely cleared out. Goes from a good held situation from NRG to a pretty terrible one, just in a few split seconds there. CLG take control of the A site, and in all honesty, NRG, they're not even going to try for this. They're just going to save now.
Yeah, I mean, they have plenty of money, but definitely don't want to give the AWP over to CLG if you can afford to. And that was just interesting to me. It looked like maybe some vast miscommunication on the NRG side, and you know, your sector of fire may have been, and of responsibility may have been off, because nobody was really watching for any sort of window jump / connector walk up, and that's exactly what happened. CLG just kind of walked up and found the kills to, I think it was, maybe it was Tabson and Legia that just kind of were caught unawares over there towards the jungle in the A bomb site. So conceding those kills for a good thing, obviously, but NRG definitely not in a terrible situation moving into the 21st round. 10-10 now, score tied up. And yep, another buy coming out here from NRG.
They just managed to get that kill at the end of the round too, so 1 more going down against CLG. Forcing at least 1 more rebuy, but not the end of the world, of course. Still enough to go for another reinvestment now. And still keep them pretty healthy as well, but a lot more active over here towards mid this time. Obviously, you've got B peeking out from the window room, but you also have 2 more in connector, ready to try and stop aggression from here. And Peter's got a great angle, and the smoke isn't perfect to allow Hayes to go over to the cross on top boxes. So Peter is going to find that opening kill. Sabrosa trying to find something in the apartments, but nothing to pick up there. And now he's been smoked off. And Kusta trying to time the shot, but still, again, a little bit early on it. Nothing being picked up.
Yeah, and Days in the analysis in the pregame kind of spoke to, you know, the identity of an opper being, you know, you want to hunt down the rifles and find the easy frags. And that's something that in this half, Peter's done extremely well. Over towards upper B in the previous round, and then this round, there towards connector, just picking his battles very carefully and finding the kills when it counts. Unfortunately, in the last round, it didn't pay off for him. Even though it was a 4v5 situation, NRG did end up crumbling. So when the B hit comes in now, as a cat split seems to be in the cards, Peter and Fugly will need to hold strong over at the B bomb site.
We can see, too, that CLG start the slow pursuit over here towards the cat, and there's nobody watching for it. Kusta just walks right in. Fugly's obviously going to get overwhelmed with those 2 pushing. Not even a trade there. Ugly just gets completely shut down. And again, NRG are completely boxed out too. Would not be out of question for them to save because of this.
How is it that you can just walk up catwalk and into B essentially with no information? It's a 5v4. Somebody is not watching something. This is like the 3rd round in a row we've seen that. NRG, take attack. Do something. Because something's not going right for you.
I already took attack.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how the new coaching rules work, Blue.
I think they can only take 1 in the match.
This is my last day, okay? Give me a
I think
break.
that's the current rule. I could be wrong, though. I don't know if the
seriously, though,
coaching decision
about
has
it.
changed.
They literally just walked all the way up catwalk, and Peter's standing there with a Molotov out in the middle of the B-bomb site. Like, I don't know how that even happens.
Bit of a mistake.
Yeah, but 2nd round in a row, Blue.
Slowly crumbling on the
4v5.
NRG side. Believe, as we said before, breaking dreams, breaking hearts, knocking teams out of playoffs. It's always fun.
Yeah, no,
here in
seriously.
NA.
I mean, there's a lot of value to what he said. It's at this point, you're fighting for pride, and you understand that practice is really just that. It's practice at this point, but despite not necessarily being able to punch into the playoff picture, you know, you don't want to be the laughing stock of the league. And Peter, again, with the entry, this time he's dropping the AWP from Cutler. Wins that off duel, so here we are, 4v5 again. Although I won't count it as an advantage towards NRG at this point, considering the history of this half thus far.
We still have Gabi waiting for more mid-pressure to work its way over here, too. Specifically over towards Connector and Cat, as he waits just behind the wrap over here, up on top of Cat. CLG themselves are now moving out from underpass and trying to get their way inside, but oh, Kusta, bit of a mistake there. Didn't realize there was a molly on the ground, and now loses half of his HP because of that. Peter, too, looking for the correct timing on this to peek back outside, but it's actually not really going to be able to do that quite proficiently. Still sticking back, and now finally starting to slowly shift towards it, but again, it's all hesitant, so CLG actually do get this connector control. Now, though, time to move it onto his site, and this is where it gets a lot trickier.
And again, I mean, they have the information. They know CLG's under window and in connector. They have full control, and yet Gabi's in ladder room and Legia's like tucked away in jungle. There's no real hard, you know, spot on it. They're just relying on both Taps and Legia to come up with these kills. Taps finds one on the haze from stairs, so Peter finally peeking off catwalk into connector, able to help out his teammates. Finds one on a Sabrosa and another one on Akusa, so this round is pretty much all said and done. NRG definitely rebounding from the last 2 rounds of blunders, so 11-11, they're able to tie things back up. I believe this is not quite a reset for CLG, but they're nearing this territory after buying this one.
And so with that one now, you see the retie coming back in, and as we can see for now, both teams actually still in positions to go for buys too. It's just been an outright brawl so far in this half, in both respects. Neither team really being broken because of how un-one-sided this seems to be, how back and forth, rather, as much as tended to be. But also, CLG finally shifting away from their usual pursuits over here towards mid. Same thing that NRG was doing, and they're actually going to go, for the most part, what is going to be a direct play. They still have Sabrosa who's going to play around with mid a bit, and eventually move in through connector, but beyond that, all these guys are pushing in. Akusta, perfect position to catch Taps and pushing in the A-ramp. Another advantage goes for CLG at the beginning of this round.
Dude, and so smart from Kusta. He falls back immediately. Legia knows that his teammate at least caught the sound from the death cam and knows that Kusta ran backwards, but Legia turns his attention away from A for just a split second. That allows CLG to come up through that palace and A-ramp area. And they have full control of the A-bomb site. Unfortunately, the rotates for NRG have already come in. Peter's over there on top of the toll booth. Finds one onto Ethan. Now this is a 3v4. Not even able to get the bomb down just yet as CLG.
See CLG too. Cutler specifically just on the other side of that one. He's going to find the kill against Legia. Unfortunately, he can't wrap around the pipes now. Despite the fact that there are 2 people waiting for him there. Getting a little bit further out into the site. Just focus on the plant. He gets that onto the ground. They'll be in a 3-on-3, but CLG backing up a lot there. As we can see Sabrosa moving all the way over to Cat to take a position there. A long-range spot. Kusta peeking over here towards CT. Gives them that free kill, basically. Not able to find any sort of response to it.
Yeah, and Gabi's going to drop the smoke towards connector. This could spell doom for CLG. Just a matter of time to see whether or not these shots hit. And Peter gets dinked through the box. Could be helpful, but it's Cutler that stops the defuse immediately. And Sabrosa must come through jungle right now and stop this defuse. Unfortunately, Gabi is there waiting. Jaws wide open. With our arms wide open. 12-11, NRG takes the lead once again.
Keeping the references alive as usual. That's nicely done. The wordsmith.
Freed, man.
That you are. Hey, that one actually knew.
Worst bands of all time.
So.
With our arms wide open.
Probably one of the weirdest singers I've ever heard.
Blue, I'd like to see you try and do karaoke that song. In fact, what are you doing later tonight?
Not much, actually.
All right.
There we go. It's a date.
We're going to have Daze judge you on your singing skills at the local watering hole.
Sounds good. Fugly, though, is going to move his way into the apartments there, where he actually gets a lot of damage on Sabrosa. Should be noted, too, of course, that with NRG's victory, finally, we've seen one of these teams be completely broken and forced onto an eco here, and unfortunately for the CLG fans out there, it did have to be this team. So they're back down. They're not putting up much of a fight on this round. Bringing Fugly a bit low. Really just trying to capitalize on any over-aggression from the CT side at this point, but they're not finding any of it.
Yeah, on the bright side, you know, when we inevitably go to karaoke later tonight with that mustache, dude, I don't think you're going to get carded.
Oh, my goodness.
Seriously. I mean, they're going to look at you and be like, wow, well, who's this man in front of me with this mustache? He must be over 21.
And we're back. Lucky ya.
I was waiting for the laugh track, dude.
I forgot we have those now.
Yeah, well, whatever. Ethan, Kusta, 2v5. Not close to a bomb plant.
Perfect time for it, too.
Yeah. I mean, I could, like, improvise my own laugh track with my iPhone, but I won't.
Disappointed. But CLG with just these two stranglers left alive. Again, it's the same thing they've been doing for the entire round. Yeah, stranglers.
Stragglers?
Oh, isn't it? Wait, oh, that's...
What did I just watch? What did we just miss? Dude, 3 kills going the way of CLG. I had counted them out of this round so quickly, and suddenly this is a 2v5 situation, and it's just Tabson in a 1v2. I mean, if there's one guy that might be able to do it, it's Tabson, but that is horrendous, both from our awareness as casters, but more so the defense from NRG.
Tabson spotting the first one there, but at the same time, it gives away his own position as he tries to sneak back in here. The Molotov to try and force him out. Nope, Kusa's not even going to realize. So he just burns. Now it's Ethan playing around with the bench spot, looking for the headshot, though, and he's going to get it on the peak. Shuts down Tabson, and somehow CLG turned that round against the favor of NRG and pick it up.
Watch this. Like, what?
Just 3 kills out of nowhere.
We didn't even see the Kusta kills, but that shot from Ethan was amazing. It was beautiful. Just clean. Ugh. Yeah, I watched DeBears throw his hands up in disbelief as all that happened. I'm just like, I don't know either. I don't know what's going on.
CSGO. So now CLG propelled with new fuel here, just gonna go directly into the back of the B apartments here to start off this round. Not really moving towards the site just yet. We even saw Cutler too going for a pretty ballsy peek up through T-ramp. That didn't get met with much success, however. He's actually brought down a 78 HP after he tries to go for that. So now, after playing around a little bit here, they are just gonna group up again over here in the alleyway, sneaking up towards B. No execute yet, but certainly seems like it's going to be coming in just a few moments.
Yeah, they've found some success towards B thus far, and they're just going to pressure it just one more time as Fugly got B blind, spinning around to the bomb site. Able to hold off the CLG push for just a moment with that Molotov, but now the push comes in. Fugly got B, holds strong, find 2. Hayes returns on a got B, and now it's a 3v4. They've made entry to the bomb site, but they haven't cleared it out yet. Fugly is still there, and Peter waits at window. The rotates will be coming in now, but Fugly will fall. The plant will inevitably go down.
Into a 3-on-3 though, but the problem is for NRG is all 3 are retaken for market. This is very one-dimensional, and CLG are going to be able to figure this out and shut it down. As long as the first couple of kills go their way, they're good to go here. And we can see two of them already trying to sneak out over here towards the market. Both the window and the doorway actually being pushed unrestricted. Sabrosa finds that first one. It's actually Hayes that gets it, so nice cross spray set up here too. But Hayes after finding the second one. Peter's only at 3 HP, so there's not a lot for him to do. Hayes actually gets a really nice round here, finding pretty much all of the kills. Peter was going to try to run and prevent the ace. We'll see if that pans out in a moment here, as he might have one more exchange with these guys. Back out towards mid. Nicely done. Taking out some bros at the very least, doing that damage, but now he's opened up the window here too for Hayes to push in. Will we see the ace? He's going to try to creep, and Peter's not looking for it at the moment, so there you go. Creeps into the crosshair. Peter tries to go for the flick, but it's Hayes with the ace.
Pentakill.
Wrong game.
Well done, Hayes. Well done.
Nicely done.
This is why CSGO is fun and sometimes beautiful, is that NRG has had pretty much every opportunity to win this game like 16-4, and it is now 13-12 in favor of CLG. Anything that can go wrong for NRG has gone wrong. And as I say that, Tabson just laying out Kusta over towards A ramp. Peter returns as well. They can turn this eco round into a win. It'd be huge, but Sabrosa not gonna let that happen. Finds 2 of his own. Now to 3-on-3. Leggy is tucked away under here balcony, and may cause some problems as Fugly's trying to bait as best he can for him. He's at least going to be able to deny a bomb plant, as they still do not seem to realize that he's here.
Like he is still just patiently waiting too for the push to come in from CLG. He is slowly being surrounded, but nobody's checked underneath. Look at this, 1, 2, and now looking for the final one. Instant headshots from Legia. Just saved the round from NRG. And Cutler gonna try to pull off the impossible now as well. He knows where Legia is, but that's about it. And none of the rest of these players have been revealed. And he's going to look to sneak in, catches one in the back, nicely done, but now he's being pushed from CT, down to 56 HP. Still hunting Legia as well here, but eventually goes down to Fugly. And NRG again pull off. Oh my goodness. I mean, what is this match even turning into at this point?
This isn't even like straight up ugly NACS. It's just like
a mess.
Crazy stuff's going down every round, man. If you're not tuning in, tune in. But you wouldn't hear me because you're not tuning in.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your mom. Tell your grandmother to tune in right now. She's missing some good Counter-Strike on the Pro League CSGO ESL channel.
Good Counter-Strike?
Yeah.
Is it though?
Good Counter-Strike. It's fun Counter-Strike, at least, at the very least. Could be worse. You could be at a Creed concert. Anyway, CLG grouping up here towards upper B. And once again, they're going to try and pressure Fugly here. And it's not even been a situation where Fugly and God B haven't been getting kills or delaying long enough for their teammates to come in, because in most cases NRG's held this B site quite well. It's just a matter of the retakes not going their way on the CT side, and the first kills again go their way. Fugly able to find a second though. Peter finally helps him out, and now it's just hazed. Second here towards upper B, and Fugly finds his third for the round. Nice hold from both he and God B with the aid from Peter. So 14-13, CLG not out of this yet. Gonna have this last buy round here, and certainly NRG able to turn things around once again and take the lead. It just speaks volumes to, you know, in some ways how good both these teams are, and in other ways how much they have to work on moving forward in the season.
Straightforward round at the very least.
For sure.
That we finally do have there, instead of the chaos that has been happening here for pretty much the rest of the half up to this point. Trading back and forth and back again, but NRG, the lead in hand, now only needing a few more rounds to try and close out. We will see them taking fast control. CLG this is over here towards mid. Moving up to the catwalks, actually not a lot of resistance, basically no resistance at all from NRG, so they're going to let them have this. But it's going to getting onto the sites where they have put a lot more focus. The thing is, though, is that again, CLG haven't necessarily given any great hints as far as which site they're taking this to, but NRG started to shift more players over here towards A, expecting it to roll in here when, in fact, it looks like it's going to be going to the other site. So you're again leaving all that pressure in both Fugly and Peter's hands, but Peter, this gets shut down. Nice boost up from Cutler, finds him through the window in the apartments. The second player sitting over here, Fugly, is going to try to roll back. Smoke saves his life for now. There's a lot more holding to do, and he's going to catch the player that pushes out over there onto the balcony. Legia moves in at the very least to find this trade, but now it's a 1v4. Cutler even moving out there on catwalk, shuts down Thompson. So what is Legia left to do? It's going to be a 14th round for CLG.
Yeah, CLG like has these rounds where they're just the perfect strategic decisions. They're exploiting all of NRG's weaknesses. They're finding the kills, and NRG is just like, guys, this round. I mean, this round maybe not necessarily, but so many rounds in this game just have slipped from their grasp from the smallest mistakes, and CLG has capitalized. So if you want to say CLG is doing one thing right, they're not wasting any opportunities to be in this game. And now it's 14-14. Like he's going to be able to save this AK, but these final two rounds are sure to be exciting.
It's very likely that we actually take this to overtime too, with how much the rounds have been traded out. So we do still see just enough cash really for NRG to buy up here. Might look at one or two guys being downgraded to pistols, but I think they might have just enough to get over that. We're assuming there's one rifle on the ground for Gabi. There should be. Yep, there we go. So full buy for these players, full utility for the most part too. The only thing they're really missing is like Tabson's kit, but that's not a huge deal since the other four have them. CLG on the other hand, of course, with the victory in their pocket, they do a rebuy. Not only this too, but Kusta has an op, as does Cutler. Double op set up. Ethan, though, is going to be lit up early on here, down to 48 HP. And an attempt to find an early kill back over here in the B apartments on CLG's end with a flashbang to the face, which pushes Kusta back.
Yeah, and CLG just taking their time now. Haven't necessarily committed to anything just yet. That bomb's still back towards T-spawn in Hayes' hands. Really smoke top mid. Probably go for some mid control here. And NRG, again, kind of conceding this mid control, just allowing CLG to roam the map freely. It's not necessarily a wrong decision, but again, I hope they don't get punished by a lack of information at this point, as CLG are just creeping all over the map without any real knowledge coming out from NRG as to where the hit might be coming in. Tapson's alone in this A bomb site. Leggy is towards stairs. But Peter's just got to worry about this window position when Kusta's really the only person towards mid.
Oh. Kusta trying to take the shot there too, but not going to be finding a connection just as of yet onto the player by steps. Leggy keeps himself alive and in check for the time being. But now also trying to focus on this hit itself, lining up in a spot to check for anybody that may be peeking out towards this connector position, while the other 4 really just sneak in. And there's Kusta striking first, diving away inside of the ladder room just to be safe and make sure that he doesn't get overwhelmed there. But unfortunately, that's going to happen anyway. Gabi takes him down. Now the real hits come in, though, and NRG don't really seem to fully realize what's just happened to them. Cutler and Peter trade blows themselves, with Tabson and Hayes going down in the process. Still even, though, in a 3-on-3, and NRG are on the cusp of the retake. 2 working their way out from CT, but CLG not peeking out at all here until when necessary, and that's going to net them another kill. Sabrosa taking down Fugly. And these final 2 are taking it so slow, but they still have so much work to do. Up on top of the steps, we do see Gabi finding a lot of impact, but no kill. And now Ethan can just wrap back around and flip 180 to get the final kill, too.
Yeah, I think this is the story of the match, is that both Ethan and Sabrosa have had so many impact rounds where they're actually, like, they're not necessarily lighting it up on the scoreboard, but definitely have come in huge when it counts. And there's another example. CLG able to claim the lead again, poised for map point. NRG just have pistols and a UMP on the board. Not looking good for the NRG side.
Ethan's actually sitting still fairly low in the scoreboard too. Prior to that 2K, he was only at 8 frags, which is like half of the next man up. But even now, 10-23. You are correct though. There has been quite a few rounds where he's been the big instrument there to allow them to actually take control of the round itself and keep them in contention to take this match.
Yeah, and NRG forced to get a little aggressive. Like he's already pushed up towards A ramp, and Ethan and Hayes are both waiting towards A ramp, and Sabrosa's towards upper B, just waiting for any kind of aggression coming out. And none will come necessarily, but NRG will surely get antsy and try and find out what CLG is doing. You don't have much utility, don't have a lot of firepower. What you can do is get information, find out where CLG is going, stack a bomb site, and just hope for the best, more or less. Of course, this is the last round of the half. A must-win situation for both teams. And the best NRG can hope for is OT, but the way this whole game has gone, it might actually benefit them to stretch this out in the long run, as CLG have seemingly pulled these rounds out of nowhere.
Kusta is going to try to move out here again to take that mid control. There is going to be a presence from Godby stuck a little bit further up inside of Darkroom there. He finds the first kill along with Fugly, but they waltz right out, and that's where Kusta's going to strike. Godby's still inside, but in the meantime, the rest of CLG have already taken full control of the B-bomb site, and, well, Godby's going to be burned outside here. The Molotov does so much damage along with his earlier fight. Then moving in there, shuts down Peter, and Kusta's about to move in on the flank too here. So CLG in good spirits, however. Leggy and Gabi finding those 2 kills, so it's even for now. There we have it. Those Sabrosa and Kusta shut out the final 2 kills, and with that, it's actually going to be CLG that takes control of this first map here. 16-14 is going to be the final scoreline, and they just barely hold it together there. A very big scrap, especially in the second half, but they do manage to come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, that whole half, both halves really, I mean, in the entire game, it was like trading round for round, and it seemed as though it was just this big, like you said, a scrap, a real dogfight. Blue.
Yeah. Nobody really seeming to get a huge edge over the other one there. As things just went back and forth basically the entire match.
Neither team economically was in a situation where they were like, oh, consistently double saving. I think we saw 1 double save at a CLG in the first half, and it set them up at a 5-2 deficit. They rallied, came back, 9-6 half. It was looking great for them, and of course, NRG kind of started out the second half with strength of their own, you know, tying it up. I think it was like 13-13 at one point, and were clearly going to push this towards at least OT, but of course CLG did not allow that. 16-14 final score. Well done from CLG.
All right, guys, well, a lot to break down in that match and see just what the heck went on. So let's take it back over to our analysis desk. Ryu and Hayes, take it away. Dazed, sorry, not hazed. Wow.
Whoa.
Off my knocker.
Freudian slip.
Whoa. I'll tell you what, Hayes is a good-looking guy, so to be confused with Hayes is not a bad thing. That was a back-and-forth match, super close. A lot of unfortunate NACS-style rounds that happened there. Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, I don't know, man. That round when Kusta 1-2, Ethan got that kill at upper, and then they were able to clutch that round versus Stabson, I think it was.
Yep.
I mean, dude, if you're NRG, that could be the round that makes it so you don't get playoffs. That could be it. Like CLG from that map could be the map that takes NRG out of playoffs. I mean, you got to take that more seriously, man. Like, you got to be spotting. You got to not make that mistake. There was actually a lot of mistakes by NRG that round. I know Lex was talking about it when they just walked up Cat in a 4v5. I believe it was when NRG had the advantage and nobody spotted and they got right into the site. So just some boneheaded plays by NRG, honestly. And CLG played some. I don't want to take credit away from CLG. CLG played some really good CS. But there was some things that I wanted to point out when we're going to see on the replays about things that both teams can improve on, and also I wanted to talk about ways you could retake A and things like that to help the viewer at home understand a bit better.
Sure. Yeah, we're going to take a look. This is a little bit earlier in the match. This is the sixth round. And we talked about this. Tabson does the same thing basically every round, and it seemed to get, there was several times that he caught Kusta off that way. He's going to jump up and he's going to take down Cutler just like that. It's a 5v3 advantage, and and then Gabi's going to lurk around from ladder room, gets another kill. Very, very clean, easy round. And this was, I think, maybe one of the few, or the last rounds, gun rounds, that NRG was able to win. CLG had some really good retakes at that A-bomb site.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about those retakes, but right there we see Tabson coming through Connector, and Hayes was actually struggling a lot in Connector. He needs to go back and watch this, because when he was playing Connector, I know CLG won the match, but it's something that he could definitely learn from. And he was kind of playing the halvesies CS, okay? In Counter-Strike, very rarely is it good to be going halfway in and out. He'd go Connector and he'd peek somebody, take like 3 shots and run away. That connector from the bottom of the stairs to getting back to safety around your own stairs or towards jungle is a lot longer than you think. Somebody can come up underpass, they can kill you. Somebody can go push towards catwalk and kill you really, really easily. When he's in connector like that, either commit or don't commit. That halvesies type of way where you're peeking, the smoke's dissipating, you shoot 2 bullets and you run away, you're going to get caught more often than not. Commit to the kill or don't commit at all.
Yeah, and it's actually one of the harder. I think Crims was an amazing player at that position.
Definitely a very difficult position.
Who one of your teammates played that? Was that a spot Brax played, or?
We actually vetoed Mirage at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, just don't play the map.
We were just like, the Europeans were so far ahead, and yeah.
Makes sense. We got another replay here from a little bit later on in the match. I think this is that round that we were talking about. So it starts with Kusta with a 1D. It's literally it would start as a 5v2. And there's 2 players up, pistols and no armor, and it just goes south.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's pretty inexcusable when you're NRG and you're playing for a playoff spot there. And they're able to come up catwalk. Kusta, it's 2 incredible shots though. 3 incredible shots actually. After he gets the M4, he gets that kill as well. And now Tabson's in a really bad position. These are the rounds where when I'm Tabson, I'm literally like seething with rage right now. Like, why are you putting me in this spot? I'm trying to play smart CS,
right.
And I get put in a 1v2 on like such an important round. Oh my god.
Yeah,
but NRG actually got him back when Legia was under Balk in the 3v3 and gets those awesome 2 headshots. Played that perfectly. So there was both teams had rounds they should have won and should have lost that the other team came
NACS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what is the Bearsman saying?
You never know.
Yeah.
In CS:GO, wise fan once said. Yeah, we saw Ethan really struggle, but he did close out. That was a huge 1v1. At one point in the match, he was like 4-20 or something like that. And then we were talking about how when that happens, you tell your team, like, if he's the last guy left, like, don't give him a kill. Can you explain why that is?
Oh, I used to make a game out of it, right? Like, if somebody's having a poor game, because a lot of the time what happens is if somebody's having a poor game and you're beating another team and that guy's alive and he's like 2-15 or something like that, right? A lot of the time he's sweating it, man. He's playing that round super, like, he wants those kills. And I would just be like, he's 2-15, don't give him a kill. Don't give him a kill. Play crossfires. Like, give him the most respect. Like, play like he is Forrest and he's 30-3 right now, And then that way, it's good because obviously it teaches your team discipline. But it's really good because that player, I'm telling you, is not going to want to play your team next time around.
And we see there he finished 11-24. Yeah. I would actually say some of those 11 kills were critically important to CLG being able to take that.
Oh, yeah.
The kills he had on that round alone were probably worth the rest of his kills. And I wanted to ask that question specifically because there's some psychological warfare stories that DeBears just shared with us that I can't wait to share with the viewing audience.
Like,
it's in your head right now.
Yeah, like 10 years later. When you guys hear this story, like, I'm psychologically, like, I still can't believe that is a story that is real.
The Bears, he's pure gold. I mean, just pure gold all the way around. And then going into this next map, talking about psychological warfare. Your energy, you have a 5v2, it's close to the end of the map, you're feeling like, all right, we're probably going to win this. Let off the gas a little bit. Terrible rounds, few mistakes. You lose a close one against a team that I feel like there's a little bit of a rivalry starting to build there. What do you need to do now in this 10-minute break or so between map 1 and map 2?
All right, well, right now they're pissed. Like 100%. I believe they live in a team house as well.
They do.
So they're probably outside right now. You know, Pete's smoking a cig. They're talking about it.
Don't smoke, Pete.
They're talking about it, but they got to just refocus and move past this. You know, right now they're like, you know what, we had that match, we should have won that match, and I guarantee you they're pissed right now. You know, going into this next match, they just got to forget about it. They got to be like, you know what, we're a better team than them. I do think NRG is a better team than them, even though CLG beat them on LAN. I think like against the competition and overall, I think NRG is a better team, and they got to be like, you know what, we just got to get refocused. Like our playoff lines are on the line. We got to just move past this. Something that I'm terrible at, by the way.
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, I'm terrible at it. So
if
don't
it
ask
was
me.
you, if it was you and you guys just lost a close match like that, how, like 1 through 10, how triggered, and then how much of an ass chewing do you give your teammates?
Well,
especially in a round like you said, if you're Tabson in that 2v5 round, like you're livid. How much does your teammates hear it in the freeze time of that next round?
I mean, if this was me right now, like I'm terrible at moving past stuff. So I'd probably like every like tone in my voice and everything I say is just like you could tell how pissed I am because I'm so bad at like hiding those emotions. I'm sure you guys know.
I don't think anyone's ever seen that.
but even then, you know, I'm just like, I'll take like 5 minutes, like literally to myself, and then I'll come back and just be like, all right, you know what, we let that slip to our fingertips. You know, let's move past it and let's move towards the next map. And I'll just start talking about what we need to do to win the next map. You know,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see if
Talk about our
NRG
pistols, things like that.
If NRG can mentally recover and get themselves ready. Hopefully, DeBears isn't on his way there because he can get in your head like that. Can't wait to tell you guys that story. But before maps 1 and 2, if you haven't already, you should take out your Apple phone or Google phone and go to the iOS store or Google Play Store and download the Score esports apps because the Score is the best place for esports news and stats. And don't go anywhere. We're going to have Cobblestone up between NRG and CLG after this short break.